I just wanted to say thank you for coming. Dessie Coale is, I hear your name around town a lot. People are speaking very highly of the work you're doing, and we're really, really happy to have you on Lamp Talk. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess the first set of questions is pretty simple. Like, how'd you get here? Career-wise, not necessarily personal life-wise.
Yeah, do you want the long story?
We got nothing but time.
You're right, we do.
Yeah.
Well, I was born and raised in Southern Illinois, small town, last of 5 kids. And one of my brothers was going to college, and he was going to go to archaeology school. And he went down to college and looked over and was like, whoa, the cinematography building was right next to it. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go check this out. What is this? Cinematographer. Graduated in, I think, 82 maybe, okay. 82 or 84. And he moved to Nashville, found his niche in Nashville. And then a few years later, one of my sisters went to the same school, went to theater, theatrical lighting designer. Moved to Atlanta, career in Atlanta. And then it's my turn to go to school. I can't figure out how to go to college. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't figure it out. I'm tumbling around. My sister gets me a job as an electrician for the summer stock. My brother would come down once in a while, or I would go up there and work on a job for him. Met somebody through him that was working in Atlanta already. He was a best boy, and I don't think he was gaffing yet, but his best boy. And once I got out of school, working at that coffee shop in the really cool area of town, my manager's like, oh, I have a friend of mine that's a gaffer. So she introduced me to him. He's doing a non-union movie, need electricians. So I'd done a smaller thing before that. I was a PA on Room Raiders for MTV. I was a terrible PA. It was awful. It's not. I can't do that.
I think we're all terrible
PAs. Because I already wanted to, I was always just talking to the lighting guys.
Right.
Because I was like, this is where I want to go. And I did that movie, and then I went on with them on rigging crews for bigger movies. Ended up on first unit kind of by accident on a bigger movie. Met my wife. Show's over. She goes back to LA. I was told by one of the producers, if you want to move to LA, you have to do it right now. There's about to be a writer's strike. So packed up all my things, and I sold everything, put everything in the back of my truck, and I moved out here. Got an apartment. I just started meeting as many people as possible.
Right. Who did you know here? Anybody?
My now wife. That's the happy ending to that story. She's now my wife, but she was working at Radford and introduced me to Robbie Archer.
Oh, nice.
So I met Robbie. I met a couple other people. I got into town. I went back to Atlanta, did some work, and met a producer there that was doing a non-union movie here. So as soon as I got back, I went and did that. That one finished. I went and did another one right after that because I'd already had experience. I was just needing a home. Since it was busy, there was opportunities available. Did that movie, did the next one, and left that one because the third one was like, get in here now because this one's going to flip.
Oh, gotcha.
So the third one, I got pretty much all my days on. So I got here in January 2007, had all my days by the end of October.
Wow.
But it was just like, you got to do it. And here's the window that will allow it.
Right.
The timing is everything, right?
Yeah, it's not that much of luck, luck when you're willing to put your neck on the line and throw everything away that you built already and take a chance.
Yeah. And so that's what I did. And I came out here and just started meeting as many people as possible. And I started going to all the classes because I didn't know a lot of people. And I met Cindy Lagerstrom. And she's like, when we come back, I'll let Greg Reeves know that you're around. So I started working at Gray's with Greg. That's how I met Greg.
Nice.
And I got there and there was all these women working on Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, I've never seen this many women in one place with tool belts on. And it was cool. It was just kind of like the first venture into like a higher level of diversity I've ever seen.
But that was grip and electric. There was quite a few women on that show on both grip and electric, right? I thought I've never worked on the show, but
I don't remember the grip part.
Okay.
I just remember there was one day when there was like 5 of us. I was like, wow,
yeah,
and it was like, oh, there's not just like the token, like one woman on the crew. It was just like, we're hiring people based on, their abilities and not necessarily anything else. Like, they're a pleasure to be around. They do a great job. And, just happens to be who they are.
yeah.
And yeah, so I think that's when Peyton was gaffing. So Peyton Skelton was gaffing and Greg was his best.
That's crazy.
I came in and it sort of just kind of snowballed from there. I went through my MPI list today
Yeah.
of my hours just to sort of like try to remember what that was like. And I've worked a lot of stuff. Like there were things in there that I don't even remember
Yeah.
because it's called something else there. And I'm like, what did I do like 8 weeks on? What is this?
Yeah.
But it's all led me right here. Just a lot of hard work and like literally not saying no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Take everything.
Take everything. And then, so how did you start gaffing?
Let's see. So maybe like 10 years ago, I was doing a lot of small stuff. I still do a lot of small stuff. It's just part of what I do, who I am. I started ACLT with David Kagan and doing some like Ryan Murphy world stuff. And that's kind of where really my career started picking up. And I started doing more work, doing more heavy lifting, more planning, more, bigger crews, bigger sets, and just kind of grasping, stage work versus location work, how to put it all together, working with rigging. And I would say like with him, this kind of laid the basis for kind of how I work, learning what works for me and how, what the asks are versus what I can deliver.
Right.
I feel like sometimes I tend to over deliver when I was a best boy, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just very emotionally draining.
Yeah.
when you put out, a lot, because I care. Like that's the other part. Like there's not a part of me that like doesn't care about this work.
Yeah.
It's the coolest world to work in. I mean,
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Like the stories that you tell, you come from somewhere that this was never going to be like your wheelhouse. So you're watching all this fiction, all this television that doesn't really in your mind exist. Then all of a sudden you're in the middle of it.
Yeah. It was an impossibility. It wasn't an option.
No, this was not something that even in my early 20s was something that was going to happen to me. So I'm watching shows and, obsessing over shows and and now I'm around all these people.
Yeah.
I'm still a little kid from Southern Illinois when I do this work.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Well, and you meet people that you've looked up to for all these years, and you get to work with them, and it becomes a much more, sort of average work day conversation. You're not the flabbergasted, kid that would have,
No, you're talking about coffee and crafty.
Yeah.
You're talking about their kids' daycare.
Exactly.
You're talking about someone's vacation somewhere they finally got because they had a gap in their work. You're not, and then if you find that moment, you can fan out a little bit and be like, this is the weirdest shit ever.
It's weird. My daughters, one time we were doing a movie and Chris Pratt was in it, and he came up to Crafty and we were at Crafty. They were extras. And he walked away and they played it totally cool. They were like, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Pratt, blah, blah, blah. And then when he walked away, I was like, Daddy, do you know who that is? And I was like, yeah, he's the guy playing whatever role he was playing, in the movie.
Oh, was it Deep in the Valley? Because that was the movie I got my days on with Chris Pratt.
No, it was Magnificent Seven.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
You never saw Deep in the Valley.
I don't think I did.
No.
No. Not that many people saw Magnificent Seven either, so it's okay.
No.
The Denzel Washington one.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
There's obviously more to that story. I mean, it's basically when there started to be second unit work at, the Ryan Murphy stuff, I said no because I'm like, I don't know how to pull myself out of my best boy, my ACLT role with all these plates I have spinning in the air. I think it would be a disservice for me. So I called in somebody else to take over those
Oh, no
those
kidding.
days. Because I just held so much information, and that at that time there was a lot of fluctuation in scheduling and equipment orders, and I'm like, I don't know how to pass this off for somebody and not let any of these balls drop out of the air. So I didn't do it. I said no. I think that's kind of the only time in my career that I did like say no.
Well, but also you felt like you had a responsibility.
I did.
To the show, to Dave.
I did.
To yourself. That's hard too. Like,
And so I don't think I was ready yet. I think I needed a little bit more time. And so,
are you ever ready though for that? Like that first big leap?
no,
Yeah.
no. So those are those moments when I said no, and I've made peace with that, because who knows where I'd be if I had said yes.
Right.
But I said no, and I put somebody else in that wanted to do more gaffing, and now they're the ones that helped me out. They started giving me a lot of second unit work. That was Eric's to go.
Right.
So Eric was huge in my transition to gaffing, because he kicked me a lot of second unit work for him, and it was one of those things where I thought, well, I would just be continuing exactly his vision. And he's like, this is yours. Do what you need to do. And I'm
Right.
like, what? You don't have a plan laid out for me, or how I'm supposed to light everything? And he's like, this is your set, passing it off to you. We're going to go do another location. This is yours. And that was awesome.
That's cool.
I had a lot of DPs, a lot of women DPs sought me out too, because there was a time, I don't know if that time still exists, but there was a time where, they were seeking out how to change the dynamic on set with visibility.
Right.
And so these women that were starting to shoot more were kind of looking like, how can I diversify my crew? And so I started picking up those calls. And a friend of mine, that's a dear friend now, there's a couple of them that really invested a lot of time with me. And I did a movie in upstate New York with my friend Sandra, and she's been a cheerleader for me for years. My friend Allison, also I did a bunch of work with her early on in my career, and I can't wait till we can work together again.
That's not a charity moment. That's you busting your butt and delivering. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's not like just, at some point, as your career moves up, their career moves up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deliver. Like
Yeah.
the product's still got to be good.
Yeah.
So granted, while somebody might have been nice to you and given you a chance early on,
Mm-hmm.
at some point they're counting on you now.
Yep.
So and you've been able to deliver for them. So, I think that the first chance, great, maybe that was a nice move from somebody, but the second call,
Yep.
that meant you delivered. So.
And it's been great. I mean, there have been hard days, there have been hard weeks, there's been hard months, but the great parts of it far outweigh all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it, and I really like being able to lead. I had no idea that would be a part of my life when I was 20, 25, that I could say that I'm in leadership. Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy the vibe that I can bring to my crew, and everyone that works with me knows that you can be a human on my crew.
Right.
You're not just an electrician automaton. You can tell me what's up. You can have good days and bad days. Right. And it's not everyone works that way. And so when people come to my career, they're going to know that there's going to be days where I'm going to be like, I don't know, guys.
Right.
This is too much for me today. And then there are days that someone will come and be like, I've had the worst time ever. It's like, well, what do you need? We'll walk away. What do you need? And I think that's when I started understanding that this business essentially is just about people.
Yeah. Relationship.
Yeah. And it's a business. It's a job. There's things expected of us. We're spending someone else's money. But ultimately, we're doing all this together. So how do we enjoy this time? How do we do good work, have good results, have good interpersonal relationships, and have a good time? And how do I get people to want to come back versus, oh, I got to go back to work.
Right.
And so I work that way. I want people to come in on my crew that want to come in. I've been on those crews that you're like, okay, I got 2 weeks left. That's it. We'll be fine. Or this is not going to be a bad day because I'm going in with Dessie.
Right.
And that's what I want my legacy to be, is like good work, good environment. That's it.
Yeah, it's hard when people are counting down the days left on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I think there were a good 10 years of that was easy to do.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's a little bit different mentality because you're looking at, well, when is the next job going to come up?
Yeah.
Because not everyone works full time anymore. So you come back to appreciate those work days again a little more than maybe you did from, I don't know, 2009 to, you know, I think it even before the before COVID,
Right.
like there was a chunk of time, like there was a good 10 years of just like a free for all.
Yeah.
And I will say that free for all is what got me work. Like I'm very thankful for all of that work because that allowed a door to be open
Right.
for me.
When COVID hit and we went bonkers, it seemed like it was never going to end. And people, you know, were buying things they shouldn't have been buying. And I was like, well, you know, eventually this will come to a stop. And they were like, no way. This is the new way now. And I said, okay. But now we're in a different position. And every day, like you said, every day that we get to go to work is a real gift for a lot of people, just trying to hold on to health insurance and all those things. Yeah.
And it's tough. It's hard when I don't have enough work for everyone that I would love to put to work.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I never thought about would be something that I have to work through. It's like there's people that I want to work as much as I do, and I do a lot of smaller jobs in between bigger jobs. I can't not do it. One, to stay busy, and two, the creative stuff sometimes comes out in those environments.
Yeah.
And some interesting things happen on set when there's just a couple people and you're just, you know, down and dirty and trying to figure it out. And also, I want to help people. Like people if they don't have like a bigger budget to do things, they're trying to get something off the ground. And I'm in a place now where I can help them.
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of, even if it's, you know, if I'm in between shows barely, I'll throw something, one or two things in between just because I can. And that's, I think, part of what I'm going to always do. I'm going to do it until I can't. Like there's, I think, a moment where the smaller stuff might be a little harder to handle just because you get so used to every production kind of knowing their path.
Right.
And sometimes on the smaller jobs, the path may not always be known. But that's also where you can be helpful because you can sometimes see the path easier than they can. And so I'm going to do it as long as I can.
We had Jim Plannett here earlier, and Jim Plannett did the biggest movies on the planet forever. And now he's doing small projects because he wants to.
That's because he wants to.
Because he wants to, and he wants to be in that creative, you know, that small creative group where everybody's making a difference.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's contributing, and there's no way to not involve anyone. You have to rely on every person on the crew. So it's interesting that you say as long as you can, but apparently you can go back to it at some point.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll keep doing it.
It's kind of fun. You know, it's I like those smaller projects, again, because you really do get that immediate connection to the material, to the director, to the DP, to the producers. Everybody's involved.
They're all there.
From top to bottom, every PA is involved. You know, it's kind of fun. So of all the projects you've done, you know, there's sort of a difference between the best project and the one that you liked the most. And there's sometimes they're the same, but sometimes they're different. So what was the one that sticks with you that you liked the best?
Visually, one of the shorts that I did visually that was, I think, one of the most beautiful is I did this short called The Letterman with Oren Sofer. And it's gorgeous. Like, he's such a talented DP. And sometimes I just go look at it because what we did with a small amount of things and the time allotted was pretty great. And I mean, we shot it was also the process. Like, it was the timing. We were shooting in a mansion, and basically, timing-wise, working with the director as well as far as where we could shoot at certain times to make sure the sun path was perfect. And it worked out really well.
Nice.
And so Oren's kind of my white whale now.
Nice.
I'm never gonna get him again.
You're supposed to say the one I met my wife on. That was the.
I mean, now I'm in trouble.
Now you're in trouble, yeah. Just with her, though.
Yeah, just with her. That one was with Shane Hurlbut.
Ooh, different approach.
I ended up going to West Virginia on first unit on that show because the guy that was going to run the expression for this scene in like a rotunda, his wife was having a baby, so he couldn't go. I was on the rigging crew, and they're like, "Oh, you're from theater, you can run expression." I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
So, like, working that day, here I am, big movie. It was We Are Marshall,
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey football movie. It holds up. Have you seen it lately?
I've seen that movie, no.
It's great. We were in the rotunda, levers, and I hit something, they all turned off.
Yeah.
And Shane goes, "Dessie, you've ruined everything." I told him that a couple of years ago. He laughed so hard.
Yeah.
He laughed so hard. But that was an important movie. That changed my trajectory in my career.
So it's a twofer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone was like surprised. And I'm like, "I'm leaving." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "I got to go chase this girl to California."
Yeah. Well, it seems like people move either for a job or a significant other.
Yeah.
Like you're either chasing the career or the person.
Yeah. I had no plans on upending or uprooting and moving. That was not a part of my plan.
No.
But plans had to change, and I took a chance. So here I am.
Seems to be working out.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the things that you're most proud of, but what's the most successful project that you've been able to be part of?
I mean, probably Matlock is pretty successful, I think.
Because you did the reboot of it, right?
I did.
Yeah,
I did the first season.
I like that show.
And I think it's fairly popular.
Yeah.
I don't know how television stands up with streaming anymore, so I'm not really sure.
I only watched it because of Kathy Bates.
Yeah, of course. It's Kathy Bates.
It's Kathy Bates. I'll watch her do anything. I'll watch her make a sandwich.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I did a show with Toby Datum. You might know that guy.
I might know that guy, yeah.
Called Tiny Beautiful Things with Catherine Hahn and Sarah Pigeon. It was really good. I mean, I think that Toby's eye for, like, we blended LED and tungsten so well. There was a lot of hard light, a lot of good tungsten units on that show.
Good.
We packed those stages full.
Nice.
And I thought we did a lot of good work there. But I haven't got to work with him since.
That's not my fault.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
Let's transition then to, we're not really allowed to have a style as gaffers. Like we adapt somebody else's style, whether
Sure.
it be a director or a show.
I've had those questions, and I'm like, whatever the DP wants is my style. But we have to work like chameleons, right? We have to move and...
No, I have preferences the way I like to do things, but
Yeah.
whether or not that blends with somebody else is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, now owning gear, you get to make a lot of choices about how you want to set a setup.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not the DP cares which light you're using.
Sure.
But as you're making those choices, what's affecting the choices you're making when you're either renting or purchasing lights? Because really the purchase and the rental is a different conversation, but kind
Sure.
of the same.
On this last show that I did with Adam Silver, mandate was basically all LED and some HMI. So that was, I was like, okay, I had 2 stages, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to afford all of this.
Right.
So we just started digging in, and we ended up with your standard, sky panels, like the 60s, 360s, sky panel space lights, and then we started bringing in aperture 1200Xs because we're not budgeted for a truss and trolley for a hard light or for even softbox or anything.
Okay.
Nothing out there.
So you had no window boxes, nothing coming in the windows at all?
No. So we ended up putting 12 by 20s and bouncing 1200Xs into them.
Okay.
I'd never used them that way before, but that was a way that we were able to get a huge soft source push in a small space and not affect the translight. And it worked really well. I mean, it worked really well. The diffusion, how it was, the bounce and how it fell off inside was really nice. And we didn't have a light that we could get at the time that had the color quality and the output that we needed. And we tried a few things into this bounce, and he's like, this quality's not right. It's not right, not right. And I'm like, let me show you this light. I've been pushing these lights on DPs lately because I love them.
Huh?
And he's like, this is the light. So Warner Brothers bought, a handful of them.
Good.
And we used them for our soft push into one of the sets. Then started bringing them in. He's like, well, we're going to use HMIs on stage. And I was like, you know what that's like. Everyone, like, sound is super not happy with you. And
Yeah.
you try to make it work. And, with M-Series, you can sort of get away with it, take it around the corner, and just start turning on a 1200X instead. All of a sudden, that's our hard light.
Oh, okay. So you're using it for both.
Mm-hmm. So the Fresnels on there, I think, are great on those lights, and that's what we used a lot. Occasionally, we bring on an HMI if we need something a little more,
Right.
a little bigger size or whatever. Those lights and the 80Cs, 80Cs, were kind of end up being my workhorses a lot. Those did a lot of, I was using them for slashes. I was using them for bounce, ceiling bounces, like 4x bounces, double diffused. They ended up being my workhorse because color is really nice.
Yeah.
And I know aperture guys really like to hear me say that stuff. But it's true,
Yeah, you had to choose something.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as though you were just, it's going to be an aperture light.
Mm-hmm.
You chose the light that
Yep.
suited your
Those
purpose.
two. I was also using a lot of light socks. Those were working really well in these little tiny spaces, and yeah.
Yeah. Would you go back to a show where you was all tungsten? Could you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, right?
Mm-hmm. I think my best thinking on my toes and visually is like a hybrid of both.
Yeah.
I can work in all one world or the other. I think using both, we have access to both. I'm actually, used to, when the mandate was all LED, I'm like, how am I going to pay for the stages?
Right.
Because in my world, a lot of times you can get away with getting more gear if it's tungsten because it's cheaper.
Certainly now, yeah.
And there's more cable and everything, but that's usually where I would fall back on. And so it was interesting, working around that and figuring out how to make the look that we needed. And it looks great. I've seen a lot of stuff. It's called I Love LA. It'll be out in November, I think. Yeah.
What are you looking for in fixtures now? What's the thing that you still feel like is missing? For all you manufacturers out there, pay attention.
I think it's the spectrum, color spectrum. Still can't beat tungsten. You can't beat tungsten. You just can't. If you can, that's when you'll win. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can see, I do find some shortcomings sometimes with LED depending on makeup. And that's the only thing that I can't control.
Or certain skin tone.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is where, if I had tungsten, I might throw that in there because I know it would get rid of whatever problem that is. Either it's too brown or too green or something.
Yeah.
And that would take care of, or not brown, but more like an orange. Like orange, and I feel like orange and green are two colors that end up spoiling a situation.
Yeah.
And those are the things I think would be helpful in the future. And it's going to happen. I mean, the technology is getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I only see that you just start seeing that color spectrum start to rise in a lot of these newer lights. And the better it gets, I mean, the less I'm going to have to deal with, telling someone that we have to change something out because you're not going to like what's happening.
Or even walking into the DIT tent and trying to see what you can have them tweak out, which never quite works. You minimize it to the best of your ability, but again, it's really a trade-off. It's just,
I think how far we've come with hard light with LED is really great.
Yeah, and that's getting better and better.
Super impressed. There's a couple of vendors that are doing really well with that.
And there's some new stuff coming out too. It's going to be pretty exciting. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to using the bigger lights. Looking forward to. I feel like there's a couple of brands that have cornered markets on certain items.
Right.
And that will never. I'm pointing to Titans down the floor.
Yeah.
It's a product that's.
Works.
I have no notes really.
Right. Like we've done all the criticism we can do on it now.
I have no notes, and they work really hard to listen to us. And it's like I got no notes. And there's other brands that are eager to keep improving, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And if you're not listening to me, I can't help it. I can only tell you what I see, what I know, what I need.
Well, again, we've got avenues now where we have direct contact with the manufacturers, and they're listening and they're paying attention. And as a manufacturer, it's a beast to try and check all these boxes. It's impossible. And even the manufacturers that have a far bigger budget than other companies are having a hard time trying to get all of these things lined up.
Yeah.
Just trying to make it look like tungsten. If we could check that box, like you said, it'd be a win.
Yeah.
But then I want it purple.
You're going to get that too.
Right. But I want perfect tungsten. But I also want to be able to throw in, whatever lead color I want.
And 0 to 100 in intensity.
Yeah. We've gotten spoiled in the simplicity of the tools that we've got in front of us. Like it's a cornucopia of a million different brands each with their own specialty.
Yeah.
And as long as you've done enough research or tested, you can pick out the best tool for that job. And short of those couple of instances, you've got almost infinite freedom.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun in that regard. Like, I don't carry as many gels as I used to.
You still have them though, don't you?
Some. I don't have, I sold my 48-footer full of probably 1,000 rolls of gels on that thing. And I didn't miss it at all.
No.
No.
Only thing that's on the cart we've got some diffusion, got some ND, got some straw.
Yeah. Probably a little plus minus green maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still I don't think I have any lights that I can't adjust that internally.
You shouldn't.
Right?
Not at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's mostly, I think the only thing that I really have to do is correct HMI.
Yeah.
It's usually just to warm it up.
How much work do you do in prep? Like how important the prep is? Because some people are really loosey-goosey when it comes to prep, and some people are really dialed in. They want T's crossed and I's dotted.
Prep is just, there's so much information gathering at the beginning. And so the blank slate is the hardest part for me. Like once we get moving, it's because like blank slate, your mind just goes off.
Yeah.
It's this giant, crazy, huge thing you're unable to complete. And so it's basically just sitting back and waiting and, getting whatever mandates are set by the DP. Like this is the look, this is sort of, the range of like kind of lights, that kind of thing. So prep is the hardest for me. Because by the time when you get to the set, that's the best part. The best part is shooting.
Right.
The prep is the hardest for me. I think the negotiation, like money is, because like I don't have these big giant shows, really. You know what I mean? I don't have.
But it's always the same negotiation.
I mean, yes. My question is, how did they get that, and I had to get this? Like, where did that happen? Was this something that was already available to them, or did they just push it through?
Right.
How did that even happen? You know, I'll see things that I think are similar budgets, and I'll be like, what,
Right.
man? How did you get all that? You know, did I just roll over? Like, what happened? So there's so much that I still have to like figure out, I think.
Yeah,
And I think it's only by doing, right?
Like learning how to negotiate for yourself and for
Yeah.
your crew it's hard. I mean, it's it's not my favorite thing either. When
Yeah.
that phone call comes, the UPM or the supervisor want to start talking about numbers. I take notes and I write them down, and I have some things I can give up, but by the end, I'm never where I want to be.
Right.
And I guess that's the goal with negotiating, is that everybody loses a little bit.
Yeah. A successful negotiation is no one is happy.
Exactly. Yeah. Are you doing maps? Are you doing 3D drawings for prep?
Not doing 3D drawings. Okay. I'll get the spotting plans from art department, and I'll lay it out at home on the kitchen table, dining room table, whatever, and just kind of stare at it for a while, and then we'll go through with the DP, me and the key grip, and we'll walk around the sets. If there's a set yet.
Right.
If there's not a set yet, we'll walk around the stage. Usually by then, something is at least taped out, so you have an idea of kind of spatial awareness. I have yet to virtually set up a show. Like, that's something that I'm sure I'll do eventually, but I haven't done that yet. I know a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And I've never done that.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, like live to tape stuff when you they'll have the whole setup and the whole rig ready to go, and you come into blank slate and it all goes in. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
That is.
But I mean, you have to teach yourself Vectorworks.
Yeah.
Which is I do a lot of 3D work, but I don't do Vectorworks well.
I took that week class with Len, and I'm like, this is way beyond. I just want to pay somebody to do this.
And a lot of times great programmers will do it. But those are few and far between too. And sometimes rigging gaffers will do it. And, but again, you still have to be able to speak in that language. It's a whole nother learning curve.
So far, I've been lucky. My programmers have been able to do plots. I was kind of shopping for programmers for this last job, and it was almost it was kind of a thing where one person was like, I don't really do that. And I'm like, that's something that I need.
Right.
It's sort of like, if you're a gaffer and you can do all that stuff and you can just provide that, kind of basic plot for somebody else and go from there, great. But I'm still in the world where I need a programmer that's doing plots, because I haven't had a job yet where I could have a drafts person.
Right.
Would love that. I would love that for everyone on my crew.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's, the tiers of the jobs that I do. I'm not sure if that's ever gonna. I mean, maybe one day it will, but not right now.
Yeah. And it is a luxury. I mean, it really is. It's a fortunate luxury on some films. A lot of the second work unit I do, I come in and the show's already halfway done, and I come in and the drafting's all done and the plots are all done, and I walk in and we go on stage and we turn stuff on and we go.
Yeah.
But that's rare too, Who's taking the notes? Is it rigging gaffer? Is it you? So how do you translate that information to the people that actually have to?
It's me, it's the rigging gaffer, and it's the ACLT.
Okay.
Yeah. I think usually the best laid plans are like written out by everyone, right? We've all kind of, you can cross-check everyone, because someone's always going to miss something.
Yeah.
One of those, because there's a lot of information being passed off. It's a lot of times very casually. You have to sort of pay attention on how it's all coming down. And do those scouts, and you sit back and you kind of share information, make sure we're all on the same page, and then just go.
Yeah.
But it's always 2 or 3 different versions. You always put down the one that you want the most, right?
Or the one that's the one you can afford.
Right.
Yeah.
The one that you want most is usually the one that you're never going to be able to go for, and that's the one that would work the best, right? And then that's when you come up with creative ways to figure out how to get what you want.
Yeah.
When production's saying, no, we're not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we'll figure something else out.
And you do.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. You have to.
Time. Yeah, and that's a bit of the issue, I think, sometimes, is that we keep succeeding despite the fact that we probably shouldn't have been able to. Somehow we figure it out.
I mean, that's part of our world.
Yeah.
It's like, if we don't succeed, we don't get called back, right?
Yeah.
So you have to succeed on some level, I think. And I think if something doesn't work and you've tried really hard, I think people understand that too. Like if there's something you're like, no, maybe not. I mean, I'm telling you not like something catastrophic. I'm just saying like, oh, we tried this and it didn't work so well. Let's try a different version of that next time.
Or the
whatever.
rental house didn't deliver all the whatevers, and so we had to.
Or it's the one thing that came out, turned on, and you turned it off to change something and it wouldn't turn back on, and now you're screwed. That happens.
The one thing that you and I, and actually I've talked with a lot of gaffers about, and we all seem to have it in varying degrees, is imposter syndrome.
Huge.
And I think everybody everywhere has it.
Yeah.
It's always that first day you walk onto a set and you're like, I don't know. I have no idea.
That's when I sit at home on the weekend crying over the spotting plans.
Right. But then you get there and then you do it, and then it's fine. And then the next day you're already into it, so the path's already set. Like, do you have any tools that you could pass on to me to help with that? Because it's and this happens with people top to bottom just in our world.
The only thing that I can do when I see myself spiraling with like the weight of the world for, a job, is I have to just simplify it and like look at one corner of it. You're like, okay, so I know that these things are the broad strokes, so I'll just start with that, because then I can work from there.
Right.
And it's because I psych myself out all the time, and that's part of the imposter syndrome thing. Imposter syndrome, is you just psych yourself out. You're like, oh, there's no way I can do this.
Why would they hire me for this?
Yeah, and it's just starting small and just not looking at the huge big picture, because that's too overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's again, like, this is such a weird job. It's like it's such a niche world, and there are classes and there are sort of people that teach this stuff, but it's so different every single time.
Yeah, it's a prototype every day.
Every day.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes when I start to feel that, I just fake it. I just put on a face. When I start to feel like I have no concept of what I'm going to do in a day, I'm just fumbling through until I find my groove. And as soon as I find the groove, I'm fine.
Yeah. It's just one step at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been days on some shows that are completely overwhelming, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this day.
Yeah.
Without crying. That's the thing about my crew. Like, they know there's going to be sometimes, every once in a while, there'll be days when I'm going to cry.
Right.
And there's some days when they cry, you know, and that's just, like, they know that that's the space that we have. Like, you can be a person and you don't have to,
You touched on that before, the old school mentality of what we do, this, obviously male dominated sort of macho approach where crying is just not acceptable.
Mm-mm.
That's got to change a bit. Like, and I know it is a little bit, but
I mean, every, crew is going to work differently.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. Some are going to stay pretty much the same, and some are going to feel differently. And, the way that our world sort of works is you can sort of build your crew on whatever model you want your vibe and your, work environment to be.
right.
And you'll choose the right people that, click the different boxes on their abilities. First of all, it's like, I need someone that is stronger in this. I need someone that's stronger than this. I need, those kinds of things. And it's fun to be able to, have people that are more experienced on your crew that, know kind of everything, and then to be able to bring on somebody else. And now being able to kind of think more about, it's sort of opened up for, choosing, somebody different.
Right.
I mean, different can mean whatever you want it to mean.
It means something different every day.
Exactly. And knowing when you come on my crew that, you can have an opinion. Like,
Right.
And a lot of times I'm like, who's got a better idea? Like when there's something going on, we're changing something and something's weird.
Right.
I'm like, I think we should do this. Does anybody have a better idea? Because, like, I don't know everything. And sometimes whoever I've got with me has maybe done this longer than me. or they've seen something similar on another show, and it's like we're all here together, and sometimes you just are not able to, sometimes you don't want to have to just like dictate something that may not be the best idea.
Right.
So I open it up sometimes. I'm just like, is this better? And you can't always do that with everybody.
Right.
But I feel like the folks on my crew, like I trust them and they trust me, and they know that like if they say something that's even not remotely close to even being the right answer, I'm not going to mock them. I'm like, they try to think about it too.
What we don't ever learn in this industry is management. Like there's no management, classes on how to manage people.
Right.
And that is a really big learning curve that I didn't even expect when I started gaffing.
Yeah.
Was how to deal with individual personalities, and I failed more times than I can count.
Were you a best boy first?
I was never a best boy.
That's the part that works that out.
Yeah. Maybe I should have been. It's too late.
We all have our own path, Mike. We all have our own path. And part of my path was learning management
Right.
because I had to. That was my job.
Right. Again, I don't know if classes would fix it. Like, can you learn how to manage people in a class?
I mean, you might be able to be given some tools that'll help you navigate some situations, but I feel like managing a crew, it changes on who the personalities are. So you have to learn how to manage fluidly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got 10 people over here and 10 people over here. You can't manage these people like you do these people. It's impossible.
I almost feel like a smaller percentage of our job is actually lighting, and a lot of it is about gear and people.
Yeah, it's gear, money, and people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the amount of time that we're actually, doing the job that we love the most is smaller than we'd care for it to be. And there's a lot of other stuff that I would much rather have somebody else do.
Yeah.
That's hard. I mean, that part gets, that's lighting is my favorite part. That's what I like.
Yeah, it's the fun part.
Yeah. And that's where prep gets a little stressful sometimes too. So you just want to get down and start shooting.
Yeah. I had so many people support me, which I think is incredible. Like, I do the same thing now. When I see someone that wants to step up, I give them as many avenues as I can.
Right.
Because now I appreciate that. And I think that maybe that's what these people saw in me. They're like, oh, this is somebody that wants to keep doing stuff. And so I'm trying to like nurture that with people. It's like, if you want to start gaffing, you want to start stepping up doing stuff, tell me.
Right.
Because like, again, like I've got gear. If like you want to do small projects, talk to me, and so now my world is also like mentoring, I guess you could say. And so I'm just trying to give back. I feel like people saw in me that I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that too.
Right.
Sure, I'll go do that. And because there's a lot of people that don't in our business and are very happy doing whatever job that they're in. I love this business. This is my life, and sometimes people just work in this business and they go home to they have a different part of life. And I think this is where some of us with an obsession for this world.
Do you feel like you have a responsibility to give back to the community?
Yes.
Is that something that sort of you feel an internal pressure to do, or is that?
I wouldn't say it's pressure.
Okay.
I just think it's like thankfulness. I think I was given, I was noticed and given opportunities, and I took them. And now I'm in a place where I can mentor, I can be visible, which is why I do a lot of stuff and I'm out a lot, because I want to be visible. I want to make sure that everyone knows that, like, yeah, I can do this job. It doesn't really matter what you look like or who you are. You can do the job.
Yeah.
You just have to do the job. You have to go for it.
Yeah.
You have to take chances. And so, yeah, for me, it's visibility also.
Right. But you talked a lot about a lot of women that gave you chances coming up. But is that because they saw something in you?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I just know that I had a lot of support.
Right.
Like, everyone was like cheering me on, a lot of support. go get them, and so yeah, so I keep.
But that sounds more like because they liked you and not because of any other pressures.
Like LA is still not a huge hotbed for women gaffers.
Right.
There's a few of us, and there's, I'm sure, plenty more that I don't know about that aren't as out in the open as I am. But yeah, I try to do all the events. I go out, I see people, I talk to people, I do all this stuff. And there's a lot of women that are working in the background that are doing way more, work than I am that I don't know about because they're working and doing other stuff. They're not interested in being visible.
Right.
And that's fine. I want them to do as much work as they can and do really good work.
The crew I had in Chicago was more than 50% women. That was the first time in my life that I was ever even able to have that choice.
Yeah.
And that choice wasn't made based on any mandate.
That's just what it was.
It just worked out that way. Like those were the best folks available. And a few young people that were really eager to step up and had the energy to do it. And so we took a few chances here and there, but it was great and it worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
But that is harder in LA because that pool of people is not growing. So how do we help? What do we do? How do we?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
I've been trying.
Well, when you have it all figured out, let me know.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, I think the only thing I can do is if I see an opportunity to help somebody, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And honestly, being visible is huge.
Yeah.
Someone like, oh, they're an old lesbian and they're a gaffer. I can too be an old lesbian and a gaffer. I don't know.
That should be a bumper sticker.
It could be. As much work as I've done with the local and with ICLS, I think it is. I think visibility for me is the most important thing.
Okay.
Just show people you can do it. I didn't have.
Right.
I didn't see some old person. I didn't know what a gaffer was when I was growing up. I didn't know who was
Nobody
making
did.
these things.
Unless your dad was a gaffer. Those two guys left already.
Yeah, they're gone. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's no model for it. Like, even when you're on set and you're an electrician, there's no model for becoming the gaffer. You model yourself after that one person or the next person you work with, but there's no...
Or how you don't want to be,
Yeah.
because there's both.
Learned a
I
lot.
like this style not so much.
Yeah.
I like how this person lights. This one, not so much.
I think I counted not that long ago about how many DPs have told me that I was ruining their movie. I had one DP tell me that I was costing them an Oscar.
Oh, that you didn't feel that at all,
I
did you?
didn't bury
Nope.
that one at all.
Nope.
Way down deep.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, all it takes, there was a conversation today that, a friend of mine was doing a small job over sometime a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And everything went great. And somebody said one small, slight thing that was not negative, but critical. And that's the only thing that sticks.
Yeah.
So also you have to remember that when you're talking to people,
Right.
because that's the thing that's going to stick.
That little flippant
That
comment.
little tiny snippet of criticism or whatever. That's why I say all that stuff to the vendors.
Right.
It sticks with them.
I know that these interviews and these conversations can be a little daunting sometimes. Like, the idea of them is foreign to us because we're always behind.
Yes.
But I really want to thank you for coming on and throwing some light on.
Really?
Yeah.
You said throwing some light.
Throwing some light. And I didn't even do that on purpose. That just slipped out. I don't know.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming here anyways and spending your afternoon. And I know you're working, so I appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
Yeah. Well, anytime.
Yeah.
Thanks.